It never announces itself. No warning, no buildup, just a moment, quick, quiet, and cutting. A comment that lands wrong, a tone that feels off, a look that says more than words ever could. And suddenly, everything inside you shifts. Your chest tightens, your mind races, your emotions rise like a storm ready to break. You feel the pull to react, to defend yourself, to prove them wrong, to fight back and reclaim your ground. But right here, in this exact moment, most people lose. Not because of the disrespect, but because they hand over their power through reaction. Here's the truth no one teaches you. Your response is your reputation, not their words, not their behavior. Because anyone can react emotionally. Anyone can snap, argue, or lose control. But very few people can stay composed when tested. And that's the difference. Because powerful people don't react impulsively. They respond with intention, with precision, with control. And today, you're about to unlock 6 responses so sharp, so calculated, that the next time someone underestimates you, they won't just remember it, they'll regret it. The first response feels almost unnatural, not because it's weak, but because it's too powerful for most people to handle. It's called the silent stare. No words, no reaction, no rush to defend yourself, just eye contact, calm, steady, unshaken. You don't flinch, you don't look away. You don't give them the emotional reaction they were expecting, because that's what they came for. Noise, pushback, energy they can feed off. But instead, they get silence, and silence is heavy. It forces them to sit in the weight of what they just said. It strips away their confidence. It exposes the insecurity behind their disrespect. Now, the pressure shifts, not on you, but on them. Watch closely, and you'll see it happen. Their tone softens. Their words stumble. They start explaining what didn't need explaining, justifying what shouldn't have been said, because your silence creates a mirror, and suddenly they don't like what they see. Meanwhile, you remain exactly where you are, grounded, composed, in control, no wasted energy. No emotional leaks, just presence. And that presence, it speaks louder than any argument ever could, because silence isn't passive, it's precise, it's intentional, it's controlled dominance. The second response is almost surgical. No drama, no buildup, no wasted motion, just one word, noted, delivered calmly, without emotion, without a trace of sarcasm. And then you move on, no explanation, no argument, no need to prove a single thing, because that one word does everything. It acknowledges what was said, but refuses to engage with it. It draws a line without announcing one. And more importantly, it creates distance, emotional distance, psychological distance, power distance. It's like you took their disrespect, placed it in a box, sealed it, and decided it no longer deserves your time, your energy, or your attention. And that's what unsettles them, because they expected friction, they expected resistance, they expected a reaction they could control. But instead, they get closure, instant, final, unshakable. Now they're left standing there, replaying the moment, wondering why it didn't land the way they thought it would. Because when you say noted, you're not just hearing them, you're showing them they no longer have access to your emotions. And once someone loses that access, they lose their power over you. This one cuts deeper than any comeback ever could. Not loud, not aggressive, but precise. Instead of reacting, you pause, look them straight in the eye, and ask, "What do you mean by that?" Simple, but disarming, because now the spotlight shifts. It's no longer about you defending yourself. It's about them explaining themselves out loud, clearly, with logic. And that's where everything starts to fall apart. Because most disrespect isn't built on truth, it hides behind tone, attitude, and implication. It sounds confident, but it isn't solid. So when you ask for clarity, you strip away the mask. Now they hesitate, they stumble, they start rephrasing, softening, backtracking, because suddenly their words don't carry the same weight. They sound awkward, forced, even embarrassing. And you didn't raise your voice. You didn't insult them. You didn't lose control. You stayed calm and handed them a mirror. Because the most powerful move isn't attacking someone, it's making them confront what they just revealed. And in that moment, their confidence fades while your control becomes undeniable. This is the moment where your strength becomes undeniable. Not loud, not aggressive, but impossible to ignore. You look them in the eye and say, I don't tolerate being spoken to like that. No raised voice, no anger, no emotional spill, just calm certainty. Because real power doesn't shout to be heard. It speaks with authority and lets silence carry the weight. And in that moment, something shifts. You're no longer reacting, you're defining the rules. See, most people don't disrespect you randomly. They test you, subtly, gradually, pushing just enough to see where your limit is, or if you even have one. And if you don't set that line, they keep going, further, deeper, until disrespect becomes the standard, and you become someone they no longer value. But the second you establish a boundary, calmly, clearly, without hesitation, you change the entire dynamic. Now there's structure. Now there's consequence. They either adjust or they lose access to you completely. And that's the key. Because boundaries aren't about controlling others. They're about deciding what you will and won't allow. And once people see that line is real, they think twice before ever crossing it again. This one doesn't raise its voice, but it echoes the longest. No argument, no explanation, no last word. You simply walk away, right there, mid-sentence, mid-disrespect. You don't stay to fix it. You don't stay to prove a point. You don't stay to be understood because your presence is not cheap and you refuse to spend it where it's not valued. And the moment you leave, something powerful happens. Silence. Not the kind you create with words, the kind that follows your absence, and that silence starts speaking to them loudly. Did I push too far? Why didn't they react? Did I just lose access to them? For good. Because they expected resistance. They expected emotion. They expected you to stay and engage. But you gave them something far more unsettling, detachment. And now they're left alone with the weight of their own behavior, replaying the moment, questioning themselves, feeling the shift they can't control anymore. Because walking away isn't avoidance, it's authority. It's the decision that your peace matters more than their opinion. And once you make that clear, they don't just notice your absence, they feel it. This is the response that doesn't happen in a moment. It happens in silence, over time. No confrontation, no comeback, no need to prove anything. You simply upgrade your life, quietly. While they're busy talking, you're building. While they're judging, you're evolving. No announcements, no validation posts. No need to show the world what you're doing. Because real growth doesn't perform, it transforms. You sharpen your mindset, you clean up your habits, you raise your standards, you become disciplined where you used to hesitate, and slowly, everything changes. Your energy, your focus, your circle. You stop entertaining what once disturbed you. You stop reacting to what once triggered you because you've outgrown it. And then, one day, they see you again. But this time, You're not the same person they thought they knew. You're sharper, calmer, untouchable in a way they can't explain. And that's when it hits them. Not all at once, but deeply. Because it was never about what you said in that moment. It's about who you became after it. Because success doesn't argue, it replaces. And nothing speaks louder than a life that no longer has room for disrespect. Here's the shift most people never make. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Disrespect isn't a verdict on your worth. It's a test of your control. A moment designed to pull you out of position, to make you react, not think, to turn your power into emotion. And most people fall for it. They react instantly. They get loud. They lose composure. And in doing that, they hand over the very respect they were trying to protect. But a rare few do something different. They stay grounded, centered, unshaken in a moment that's meant to shake them. And that's where real power lives. Because when you control yourself, you control the situation. You don't chase respect. You become someone it follows. So the next time someone crosses that line, don't rush. Don't react on impulse. Don't feel the need to prove anything. Pause. Breathe in that moment. And then choose your response like it actually matters. Because it does. Because in that split second, you're not just dealing with someone else's behavior. You're defining your identity. And once you master that, respect stops being something you ask for. It becomes something people feel the moment you walk in. If something in this hit you, don't scroll past it like everything else. Use it, because the next test won't wait for you to be ready. It will show up unannounced in a tone, a comment, a moment that demands a reaction. And this time, you won't give one. You'll choose one response, just one, and you'll own it. That's where the shift begins. Because this isn't about winning an argument. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need to fight for respect anymore. So if you're serious about that level of control, subscribe. Because this isn't motivation. It's transformation. And this is only the beginning.